All right,
that is amazing.
Did you ever seen that?
Yeah.
Tom, the guy making fun of your football team's coach looks like this.
The guy making
fun of your pro team's college coach looks like that.
Me.
That's the new Tar Heels coach in college football 26. Jordan is in the house. Michael is gone. Terry's got to be having fun with this stuff.
They really should put instead of that Nike swoosh.
Terry.
Instead of that Nike swoosh, they should put.
Terry, you need this as a poster on in your office. Don't
I know.
You?
That's what I need.
You got to print this off. Terry.
The thing is,
that's what I'm saying.
Don't show this to Gerald Weathers. Don't show it to Gerald.
Here's the thing.
And then have a sign over the top of there's no Michael.
If
no
you
more.
want, if you want to talk about this, if you're Bill Belichick, was he 74? He's 74 years old.
Tom, just on account of you cannot.
Can I
does
finish
not
my
mean.
statement? Can I finish my statement? I wasn't even done.
Oh, he's Southern now. You hear that?
If you have enough money to get you a 24-year-old girlfriend, just disappear, man.
Right. Why is he coaching?
Why are you that's what I'm saying, man.
Go to the island.
Go have
buy her
fun
what she
with
wants.
your girlfriend until she leaves you.
Let me coach football.
I know, and she's going to be cheating on you the whole time. You're going to be putting up with that. That's fine. But I'm serious,
I would rather
man.
have her on an island away from as many
That's what
men
I'm
as
saying,
possible
man.
her
I
age, as
just
opposed to
don't-
in good shape,
surrounded
yeah.
by 10,000 of them in Chapel Hill.
Yeah, weightlifting and good training.
And
and good
I
shape.
will say this: all the people judging him. If you're a middle-aged, 67-year-old guy, it's like, oh,
I'm proud of
sure.
him.
If he's
Can't wait.
If you're hit on by a beautiful 25-year-old girl, let's just see how that turns out for you. You know, let's just see how strong you are before you judge another guy.
Can't wait till I
But
turn
I just-
74. I got goals, life goals, right, Terry? You got
Goals.
yours down. How
I just
you're not
don't-
74 yet, Terry.
Tom, it's like this.
What he's doing.
As soon as he walks in there, he's like this. I don't care what happens as long as she comes home with me at the end of the day.
But I don't understand why he's coaching.
I mean, you know,
Why is he coaching?
I can't believe Terry.
well, that's what he just got
Why
to
is he
say.
I just don't understand why he's still coaching. I didn't get it. Why is he doing interviews with her sitting in the background
Yeah.
telling him, why are you doing it? Just disappear. Just go away.
All
I
right,
just
so
don't understand it. I don't understand.
oh god, we're gonna do a little football while we're there.
Oh, Lordy. Man.
Only 10 teams in college football will not play a FCS team this year. So I want to congratulate these teams. These teams are the toughest, best schools in America because they're not afraid to play real competition.
and hope they qualify for the playoff.
Texas, Wisconsin, UCLA, USC.
Which USC?
Southern Cal.
Okay.
Yeah, so, I was getting ready to say.
Stanford, Colorado,
Go Dion.
Tulane, Sam Houston State is brave enough not to play in
They're not an FCS school?
No, they're a group of 5, and they still will not play in FCS school. And, of course, the 2 best schools ever, Michigan and Notre Dame. Don't talk about them schedules, remember, next fall, Terry, when he starts talking about Notre Dame's schedule.
Yeah, Michigan says we don't play them flunkies. But Ohio State, y'all do.
What are y'all playing, Youngstown or something like that?
Grambling State.
Grambling. Oh,
Wow.
my Lord.
Yeah, I mean,
That'd be a tough one.
I'm
That
not
might be
gonna
the most
defend-
embarrassing thing I've ever heard for Ohio State.
I'm not defending it. I'm just telling
Yeah, I
you,
know.
I'm not defending it
That's
whatsoever.
worse than a
I'd rather
tattoo.
see-
Y'all should have the season
Hey,
revoked.
play an in-state rival. Play Kent State. Play Akron.
What is
Play Ohio. Play Ohio.
They are playing Ohio.
Oh, are they? Okay.
Mhm.
Okay.
They are playing Ohio. This, or just I would, if I was the NCAA dictator, I would say, okay, we're going to have Big Ten SEC Challenge Week. Everybody based on what you did last year, we're going to match you up, or at least 10 of the teams. Everybody's going to play. You're going to play interconference.
Yeah.
You get beat, you get beat. Shut up. Quit crying. If you got beat, then you're not good enough. What are you crying about? So, I mean, I would just force their hand and make them do
There's
that.
about to be some major changes. Big Ten and SEC look to be trying to split off from everyone else. SEC's looking at 9 conference games, 1 Big Ten team, and then 2 Western. Who Mercer, ain't that who Alabama plays? Somebody like that. Y'all
Western
play
Carolina.
Grambling State. Like, I don't think Grambling State would come. We don't think App would play them. Why, Terry? Why is Ohio State and these teams like? And like you just said, Tom, like at least you're not even in the state. Keep it in the state school system and the money.
That was a valid argument.
Grambling.
I didn't necessarily think I was a fan of it, but I mean, Tom, that's not a.
I'm
That's
not
not.
like there are things like I'm not one of those fans. I will not defend everything that
Your
my
school
school
does, or your
does.
team
I will
does.
not defend a Grambling State home game. I mean, it's just like, you know, there are other teams. West Virginia's next door, right? Play West Virginia. Pittsburgh's right down the road, right?
Yeah.
Play Pittsburgh.
Completely.
I mean, I don't like. Everybody's so worried about getting beat. You get beat, you get beat.
Completely agree with you, Tom.
And
I'm a North
I-
Carolina
it's-
Tar Heel.
Depends
Especially
on who you are.
in a 12 team playoff format. You say Ohio State goes down there to Pittsburgh and messes up and gets beat. Well, you've got plenty of time to recover
You got
that.
2 losses. You can do that.
That's what I'm saying, man. I mean, I just don't.
No,
I know
I'm
everybody-
being serious.
I know everybody's afraid to get
Well-
beat in a non-conference game, but I'm just saying, man, it's boring. Who wants to watch
Tom,
Grambling
here's the-
State and Ohio?
Can- can I
no,
make- can I make-
here's the problem.
Tell-
You
say
can
what I
go,
think you're going to say.
Ohio State can go lose 2 games. North Carolina State cannot lose 1.
Correct.
North Carolina State's going to lose 6, so it doesn't matter.
Well,
It's a
I'm
moot
just
point.
saying, though, there's the difference.
Well, but
we
here-
cannot
It's
lose
not
any.
a moot point.
But there's
They're going to lose 6 games every year, Kevin.
Now he's making the point that some teams, there's 10 teams in
Yeah,
but
college
it's
Ohio
football
State
It's
can lose
irrelevant.
2
that can
games.
lose
It's
2
irrelevant.
games. Alabama could lose 3 that you could probably
And
get in
still
these
be in
playoffs.
it.
And there is no way on God's green earth for North Carolina, based on the name that they are. Now, what I was going to say, and here's what I don't like about the college football fans, is that they seem to think that they deserve a second chance.
Ohio State's one of
Once
those.
you've been like in this, like, for example, the teams that finished 3rd in their conference, once you've been beat by a team that's in the playoffs, what argument do you have to be in the playoffs?
right.
Because you shouldn't get a second chance to beat that team that's already come and dog walked you or whatever happened during the season. And that's the one thing I don't like is you sit there, well, why do I get a second chance to come back? Yeah, they're going to keep expanding it, and then everybody's got second chances now. So you can lose 2 or 3 games, and it's going to be the same names over and over because, well, they can lose 2 games. I know a 2-loss Alabama is better than a 2-loss North Carolina.
Yeah.
Alabama's in
Oh, yeah.
every single time. And so here's some auto bid proposals that, and the Big Ten and SEC are wanting 4 auto bids, and they only allow the ACC to get 2. And the big, what's the other one? What's the other Big East, Big Ten, Big something? There's too many packs, whatever.
There's one hole in your theory, though.
Which theory?
Alabama didn't get in last year.
Just last year, yeah.
but
But they're expanding. They're
but
expanding. They're
they-
expanding to how many?
you said Alabama's going to get in regardless. And
Yeah.
Well,
I
that's
don't know
the
if I said
first year doing
regardless.
it. I guarantee it not happening again.
I guarantee
Yeah,
it.
I guarantee
Colonel
it.
Sanders over here
Well,
guaranteed
well,
it.
Yeah.
the- again,
I'm just
the
telling-
one year the
no,
SEC
no.
doesn't get their way in the committee, they want to blow all this stuff. That's how they're the ones for doing all these proposals and everything. It's like, no, this is not what. So here's the 5 auto bids, Power 4 conference champs, and 1 group of 6. So there's your 5. Rest of the field at large teams, whether it's 12, 4, or 16, has been proposed multiple times to Big Ten and SEC sources. They have come back proposing 4 auto bids for their leagues and only 2 for the ACC and Big 12.
That's
1
the
group of
dumbest
6,
thing I've ever heard.
and then 3 at large bids.
What makes them think they're better than everybody else?
That's
Yeah,
exactly-
they was this past year, but that changes every year.
That's exactly what they're proposing.
The SEC was not. the
Remember, this
SEC
is
was
just in
not that
football,
good.
No,
not
they was
basketball,
not.
not gymnastics, not baseball. We're not having this argument. They want to do it just. This is a football thing.
The thing is, in the era of the NIL and the free agency every year, they're not going to be able to. Nick Saban's not down there to recruit all these 4-stars to sit on his bench for 2 years, so he's
Yeah.
not playing against them. So I mean, you're just not going to be able to do what you used to do. You recruit a 5-star, like Ewers at Ohio State. You recruit a 5-star, you get him to come to Ohio State. He doesn't play. See you later.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, it's just you're not going to be able to dominate. You're not going to be able to lock up that talent, even with recruiting. It's like, oh, we got the top recruiting card. It doesn't matter.
You're not going to be able to
Doesn't
back.
matter. They can leave whenever they want.
You're not going to be able to backlog
Right.
positions.
So I
Yeah.
just don't think that. I mean, the era of SEC dominance is not going to happen anymore, and I think there's going to be a lot of parity. So they know that. So that's why they want to do this now, Terry. They know the direction it's going in.
getting ready to change.
So what they want to do is say, okay, since we know the direct, let's go ahead and lock up our spots now. Because still in people's minds, the SEC is head and shoulders above everybody else. But what happened to Tennessee when they come up there to Columbus? But the SEC's head and shoulder. Oh, their backups could beat Ohio State by 50 points. I was like, we proved that wrong. So they know the direction all this is going in. So let's go ahead and use our reputation while we still have it and make sure that we lock up more money for our conference. That way, if we have more money, then we can recruit more players and maybe be dominant again.
That's what I liked about Ohio State and the Fighting Irish playing for the national title. No SEC was involved. So how can you come up now saying we respect 4 people from our conference to get there?
Who was in it besides Tennessee who got blown out? Who else from the SEC?
Georgia was in the playoff.
And Georgia got beat by Notre Dame. Manhandled by Notre Dame, right?
The second half they did.
Yeah, it got manhandled by Notre Dame. So, yeah, who else was in it?
Texas.
So the SEC folks put out this big thing about how they're the best conference, and I don't even want to read it. It's ridiculous.
Well, I'm not saying that they're not.
And
I'm just saying when it comes to the putting it out there on the field, they did.
They're coming out talking about they got the toughest schedule. That's been the schedule.
Oh, yeah.
The schedule. The Alabama coach, new coach, you wonder what would have happened if other people would have played our schedule. Talk about getting in the playoffs, Tom, Terry. Now, I know what would have happened.
Ohio State.
They wouldn't have lost to Vanderbilt.
Right.
Yeah. They played.
That's what happened. Nobody in the playoffs lost to Vanderbilt. If you lose to Vanderbilt, what argument? And that's what I mean. When some things should disqualify you, right? If you lose to Vanderbilt, you're not in the playoffs. I don't care if you go 12-1. I don't care. If you lose to Vanderbilt, you're not in the playoffs. What is he arguing about?
This might be a simplistic argument, and I think you've made it before, Kevin. But I mean, this whole scheduling. I got an idea. If you want to, don't lose. You've got control.
Yeah, that's all it is.
That's the most important.
And you
thing.
talk about the Vanderbilt game. We were on our way to Washington D.C. and we listened to that game on the radio.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to tell you that Vanderbilt manhandled Alabama at the end of that game. I mean, ran the ball down their throat.
Yeah.
They knew they were going to run the ball, and Vanderbilt just ran it down their throat, just manhandled them in that game. So, I mean, like, what are you crying about, man? You got, not only did you get beat by, you got beat up. You got manhandled on the field, in the trenches, in the fourth quarter.
They wasn't
by Vanderbilt.
Wasn't trick plays.
They had the ball in the lead.
They punched you in the jaw.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct. And it's just like, man, why are y'all crying that you're not in the playoff? I mean, it's just so stupid, man. But like I said, they're trying while they still have this reputation of being the elite conference, because Terry made the best point. What SEC team was in the final?
Right.
Oh, that's not a hard question, is it?
Yeah. Okay? Then all of a sudden you jump back out here the next year saying we're the best.
Ohio State.
Maybe.
Ohio State puts out 2 SEC teams. Oh, what happened to Ohio State can't beat the SEC? Before they couldn't. I'll give you credit. Before they couldn't, but now they can. So let's change this now before it's too late.
Yeah.
You know, so that's their mindset.
I still think, and I'm curious now, have y'all seen this argument about, and this could be to the point where you're talking about these automatic bids, this 11-5 or this 5-11 rule that they're the reorganization. They won't do a 16-team playoff now. There's a
if you do 16, nobody has a bye.
Right.
That's what it was. 4, 4, 2, 2, and 1. So there's
with 12, the top 4 had
and then
the
3,
top 4
and then 3,
had
and then 3, and it was 3 whatever
at large or whatever.
Yeah, but I still don't like the 4-4 concept at the top.
Well, here's what I don't like is there's a big argument and nobody can.
Who can tell you have the best conference?
Here's what people, and you're right. Here's the problem I have. One big problem I have with college football. You guys can't figure out whether you want the best 16 teams or the 16 teams that qualify.
Yeah.
Right. Yes.
Yeah.
16 teams by your opinion.
Yeah.
Or do you want the 16 teams that qualified? And the NFL and every other sport in the world does qualified. Every starting quarterback in the NFL that goes into the playoffs could get hurt in week 17 and tough. Whatever you want to say. You have to go in you have to go in the playoffs. They wouldn't be like, well, the Cowboys sitting over here, Dak Prescott's healthy. Let's put them in the NFC Championship game now because the guys got hurt. That's how college football works.
Because
we think the Redskins are better. We're going to put them in.
There's an understanding, or there's an understanding in the NFL scheduling that even the worst, because they divvy out the schedules based on what division you play each year, the outside of your division. Like I think you play a certain AFC division. If you're in the NFC team, you play a certain AFC division.
You do.
And
it changes.
But there's an understanding and an acceptance that even as bad as the NFC South is, that there's a more of a level of parity there, that any NFL team can beat any NFL team on any given Sunday. That mentality is not there in college football based on, and part of that goes to Kevin's point about the fact we're letting bowl conference teams play against championship the championship
FCS
thank you. I couldn't remember the acronym. FCS teams. So and I go back to, and there's another part of this that continues to, that we're not even talking about right now, that's going to become more of an issue as the season goes on, that Tom brought up and has the perfect solution for, that I continue to advocate, because once these the best two teams in each conference get to the conference championship, what's the incentive for them to want to play if both teams aren't already going to get into the college football playoff?
You could get a bye.
Well, they're talking about that now. A lot of teams are wanting to go away from having a conference
if they're
championship.
here's the thing though: if they're doing 2-2, 4-4, they're already admitting the two conference champions. If that's what they should, if they're going to agree to that, you have to come in and be like, our two title game guys are in,
yes,
or we're not doing this, because you can't sit there and say, well, this one's out and we're putting our third place team in.
Right.
Because that's what's going to happen. You can't put third place teams in over the top two.
I agree with that. And I think, and there needs to be some
it's not going to happen in the SEC because they're getting their fours. That's what they want.
Well,
they want their four automatics, so they can get their third and fourth place teams in.
And there needs to be an incentive that'll up the ante for winning. They're adding value to winning that conference championship by making it a first round bye. You win one of those Power 4 conference championships, you get a first round bye. Tom's been saying it for months, and I will continue to support that. It makes too much blame sense. Why is that not even part of the negotiation? Why is that not even being talked about right now?
Because certain ones, for financial reasons, want to dominate it.
Yeah.
Especially now, because finances were always important, but they're uber important now when you got to pay the quarterback $8 million or whatever Miami's playing.
Well, the crazy thing is they're talking about what Big Ten and SEC are talking about breaking off, but the narrative's being propagated so much that's going to be those two conferences in and of themselves are going to be viewed as the national champion if they got their way.
Well, I mean, it's just as much as I hate to say this because I'm a capitalist as much as everybody, but we see how greed is ruining college football. I mean, it really is. I mean, it's just
the schools that break off, Tom, real quick, the SEC and Big Ten, if they break off for football, they better not let them play other sports, right?
That's a valid argument.
I wouldn't let them play.
If you're ACC, that's what I want to know. That's what I ask you, Tom. I'm the ACC, should I be like, if you do that, okay, we'll play gymnastics? No. I'm not bringing my golf team to a basketball team to your house. We're not playing March Madness anymore. You guys play your little basketball tournament with your 6 to whatever teams that you took your football to. This isn't just a football thing. Like, if you step out on us like this is everything. Like, you're out of the basketball tournament.
Yes. The problem
is,
Terry?
Yeah,
I agree.
Tom?
The problem is they're going to have a lot of money that they're taking off the table from the other conferences.
There it goes, money.
That's it.
But if the Big Ten and SEC go different ways for football, to be honest, the rest of them can be like, we're going to put all our money into basketball. You guys can kick rocks.
And I don't think it'll be enough. SEC is already starting to get start dominating.
If Carolina would if Carolina quit paying Bill Belichick and his girlfriend, they would have more money for a start or for a shooting guard.
Yeah.
Well, I want to tell you something else. If we keep talking about college, and I want to switch over to basketball.
Well, Terry, hold on. The NFL.
Okay.
Go ahead. You college basketball?
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
The reason I'm asking because there's a schedule for all the basketball teams to come out, and everybody's going to play 18 games in it. And North Carolina State gets to play 2 teams at home and away. And I don't understand none of this. We're going to get Carolina 1 time. Why is that? We're going to get Duke 1 time. Why is that? But our teams that we're going to play twice, Wake Forest, hey, I'm with that. They're in they're in the state, But the other team, Virginia. Why are we playing Virginia home and away?
I don't mind that. That's a historical ACC team, so I don't necessarily mind that either. And I mean, and historically, they're a border state rival, I guess, for lack of a better term.
The only thing that I liked about the schedule is we get Duke and North Carolina at home. That's the only thing I like about that schedule.
It's just the price we pay for such a big conference.
You know, but I mean, come on, y'all.
I'm just telling you, it's not the same, man. I know it's more profitable. It's just not as interesting to like people like me who, you knew the ACC teams.
Yeah.
I guarantee you, the average fan couldn't name all the ACC
That's right.
teams, because I find myself, it's like, why are they talking about Oregon on the Big Ten network? Oh, that's right.
That's right.
They're, the Big
They're
Ten
part of you.
So I mean, it's just like Oregon's a Big Ten team
Well,
now. Which California, Stanford, ACC
California.
Team. I mean,
I have a novel concept. How about we name teams on the Atlantic Coast in the Atlantic Coast Conference?
No, but it made more sense. Like the geography fed the rivalry and fed. I mean, it's not what it was. You know what I mean? And it just never will. Us that grew up with a different. It's never going to be like that for us again. And it's
a lot of the major media outlets they've jumped into bed with the conferences they want to.
Yeah.
And I'm telling you, the odd conference is out, and this is where the Big Ten and the SEC have an advantage. That the media contract money that they're getting, the television contract money, and the revenue that they're bringing in is something that the ACC can't keep up with right now.
Like when I was a kid, Big Monday, you had the Big Ten games, and you knew all the Big Ten teams, and you had the Big East game.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? It's just like you understood who was playing who and why, and the rivalries. Like Providence played St. John's.
Yeah.
You know, this is a regional rivalry, man. That's what college sports are about. Ohio State's playing Michigan State.
Georgetown, Syracuse.
Right. Georgetown, Syracuse. I mean, it was fun.
Mm-hmm.
But now it's just like the conferences have no geographical continuity.
No.
And the guys play a year and leave.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just like, I get it.
Right.
Maybe it's good for Instagram,
Mm-hmm.
but it's just not. I know times change, but it's just, for me, like a traditional fan, it would just be hard. It's just hard for me to get into it. I just can't get into it anymore. And I follow it. You know what I mean? I follow it. But you used to know who was playing for who, who their star. And now it's like, a few star. It's just not what it was.
It goes back to even in the argument. I'm changing sports as an example, but when Major League Baseball went to interleague play, I think most of us would be hard pressed to say that wasn't a win, that it's not a benefit, but you lost something in the fact of having these two leagues not meet until the World Series. You lose something not having these regional rivalries not meet until the NCAA tournament. You see the best of the Big East match up in the conference tournament, and again you have I think of the 5 overtime game between Georgetown and Syracuse, and all the clashes of the ACC, and seeing who can stand at the top of the end of that conference tournament, and then you mesh them together for for March Madness, and bringing a football playoff. I would have loved to have seen the dynamic for that, and in a sense you get to see it to some extent, because part of it right now is because none of these teams want to play each other in the regular season because they're afraid they're not going to qualify if they lose.
My question for y'all, is California in the ACC?
Yes.
They are?
Yes.
North Carolina State don't even play them.
Do they play?
We're playing basketball.
Do they play?
We don't even get to play them.
Do they play SMU?
Oh, yeah. We play SMU away.
Don't even play them in basketball.
We don't even play them in California. But we're going to play Virginia twice.
Hey.
And wait twice. I understand the weight thing, but take the Virginia, give us a California in there somewhere.
Remember back when we were kids, it was 8 teams in the ACC, wasn't it?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
That's
you don't have so many games you can schedule.
That's when it was fun.
What's the point of adding teams if you're not going to play them?
And then when you go out west, most of the teams, if you go back to their schedules from last year, that's like when State went out there. We played California, then we went to Stanford, then we come back through SMU, then we come home.
Well, we still got some golf, some baseball, and NBA playoffs to go over when we come back here on KTCBroadcasting.com.